You ever heard of the Kapinkoff family?
No, I wish I did though, because they owned a lot of very well-known pubs around Perth. Some are newish, some not so new, and some are the kinds of pubs that used to have V Capri play at them. The Kapinkoffs have just offloaded 9 pubs to Australian Venue Co, which owns 180 bars and restaurants across Australia, including some well-known places in WA. They've got the Claremont Hotel, the Aviary, Wolf Lane, the Guildford Hotel and a few others.
Yeah, big payday for the Kapinkoffs.
Well, you never know how much debt these private companies are carrying, so who knows how much is in their pocket once the banks are paid off, but it'd be a lot. ARC is now run by director Adam Kapinkoff, but the family business was started by his father Danny more than 40 years ago. Danny came to WA from Macedonia in the 60s. He was a mechanic, but he knew how to pour a beer. He learnt the pub trade at the Rosemount in North Perth. In 1977, he got his own pub at Narrabeen. Worked his guts out there with his wife and was able to upgrade to the Swanbourne Hotel in 1980. You'd remember the Swanee.
I do.
2 years later, they were back in the wheat belt after buying the Merredin Oasis from this guy. In 1996, they ran the Woodvale Tavern, and in 1999, they staked their first claim in the city proper with Irish institution Dirty Nellies. They've now sold everything in WA except one pub, the Paddo in Mount Hawthorn. They bought that one quite recently, have plans to develop it. But nobody knows exactly what their next big investment is going to be.
Maybe they're going to buy shares.
If they do, they won't have much competition. It was a bloodbath on the ASX after investors reacted hysterically to news that the MSCI ACWI index, this takes the temperature of stock markets around the world, ended Monday down 21% from its high in November. Once a market index is down 20%, it is said to be in a bear market. That's B-E-A-R. Not B-A-R-E.
I'm dead sexy. Look at my sexy body.
Bull market is when things are up. Bear market is when things are on the way down.
Why is 20% the tipping point?
Totally arbitrary. There has no statistical significance whatsoever. But bear market status gets into the heads of investors who start losing confidence, which is exactly what happened to the Australian market on Tuesday. Aussie investors woke up to the news the world was slipping into bear territory and they freaked out. Sellers outnumbered buyers and prices dropped. A lot. At one stage, more than $100 billion was wiped off the value of Australian stocks. That's $100 billion that wasn't in our pockets.
So it's a horror show just because the MS whatever index ended lower.
If that stupid index, which most people didn't know existed until Tuesday morning, had closed down by 19.9% off its high instead of 21%, we wouldn't have panicked and we'd all be $100 billion better off right now. 1 percentage point is all it took.
Okay, what happens now?
We sit there hoping it bounces back.
Well, it always does, right?
Eventually. The problem at the moment is the ASX is officially in correction territory. It's down more than 10% from its recent high.
The market's in an itsy-bitsy little gully right now.
Again, completely arbitrary, but it's going to make everyone freak out even more.
Okay, that was crazy. Let's just all calm down.
This is new territory for a lot of investors. We haven't had a prolonged bear market since the GFC.
Hey, there's a bubble.
Even the great COVID sell-off in March 2020, that was the last time the market dived like it did just then. The dip didn't last terribly long.
I'll be back. Because
investors who had sold in a panic back then realised they were getting 0.5% interest in the bank and that wasn't cutting it, so they piled back in.
I'm back.
But now interest rates are going up.
And the amount you earn outside the share mark in the bank is getting better, so people might not be as ready to jump back in once they're out. The artificially low interest rates we've seen for the past decade have propped up the world share markets. We've been saying this for a long time. Until now, investors had been willing to pay high prices for shares, which means the yield on those shares is lower because it's still a lot more than what they can get in a term deposit. That's not going to be the case anymore. Plus, when your money's in the bank, you're not going to lose your shorts if the market really tanks.
Should have put our money on the Socceroos.
Oh yeah.
Alex Valera. And Redmayne!
Andrew Redmayne enters Australian sports folklore with his Wiggles dance. Even he couldn't believe it worked.
Save! It's a save that means the world to us!
That's the same look Col Blanch had when he was told he was a new police commissioner.
And that's something I'm very proud of.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's got his own wiggle dance.
Fronted the press conference today looking very lean.
Can I just say, I hope you don't mind, but you're looking very trim.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Still a big unit, just not as big.
I knew what was coming. A couple of donuts photoshopped around me, you know, the big fat police commissioner. So health benefits and no more photos would be great. So a bit more trimmer.
All power to you, Cole, but don't go too far. You can still afford to smash the occasional palmy at the local pub.
Get in my belly!
I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.